Have a look at this. What's going on here? But I'm not going to worry about this at the moment. I'm going to go for a ride, do some suspension checking or testing right now. What we're going to do is just concentrate on the rebound. Why the rebound? Because even like the GSX-S1000, they only have preload and rebound. When I got the bike suspension redone, the tuning shop said rebound first. So what I've done, I've backed everything off. I've gone to the softest setting that you can have, just wound all the compression and rebound all the way off. Now normally you look at your owner's manual and you have a look at the standard settings, and you either go one way or the other. But this time what I'm going to do is just wind it right off to make it as soft as possible and as quick as possible, and see if it porpoises down the road, to see if it's what it's like, basically. Because I'm not going to go click 2 clicks this way, 2 clicks that way. I'm just going to go to the extreme one way, and I want it more comfortable on this type of road. And this is the problem that I'm having, is the roads, even though there's no potholes, it is jarring. So I want to try and reduce the jarring, and the speed limit without roadworks, of course, along here is 110, and this road is quite a heavily trafficked road for road trains and stuff like that. So the ruts, the minute ruts from the suspension of the trailers of the trucks make this road quite uncomfortable. And so far it's alright. And as the suspension guy said to me, the rebound first gives you the feel, and then you firm it up from there. And like even a friend who's got a Harley Breakout bought a Wilbur's aftermarket shock for the Breakout, and it only had rebound and preload, no compression dampening at all, adjustable. So the number one thing, as far as I can tell, is to sort out the rebound first. It's a little bit bouncy at the back, just a little bit, you know, a little bit. The suspension still has dampening, it's just that it's reduced to its minimum. And on the rear shock of the TLR, all the way out is 27 clicks, and I've got it set at 26, so I'm going to wind it in, increase the dampening to 20 for the rebound. I'm not going to touch the compression, I'm just going to do the rebound. The front forks seem to be okay as they are at the moment, and I can just feel the back end, it hits the bump and then it recycles or cycles again after it compresses, and then it extends back out, and then it sort of does a little bit of a dance before it settles again. The thing about the rotary dampers is they're right here, so you just have to wind them in or out. The rebound is the front adjuster, so we're going to go 6 in because I want it. I'll try 20, so I'll go in 6 clicks. and I'll leave it like that. Oh, and guys who asked me about the Zeta brake lever, one of the advantages of the brake lever is that it is very narrow here, so you get a little bit more clearance when you turn the handlebars full left lock. The lever doesn't hit because it's the way they've put that angle in there, reduced it as much as possible. The stock one comes further out, so it's a good bit of gear. And if you made it this far in the video, thank you very much. YouTube are going to introduce new restrictions the beginning of next year. It'll be even harder to make any money out of YouTube starting in February. So every minute watched is the most important thing. So if you watch to the end of the video, thank you so much. The last video, I'll give you an example. The last video made 81 cents. 81 cents. Incredible. I don't know how these guys do it with the mega expensive motorbikes on their YouTube channels, but I really don't know. Anyway. Now the back shock wasn't too bad, but there was a bloody big bump back there, and you could see how much the forks travelled there. It's one of these holes, not a pothole but a dip. The rebound on the front forks, which is the top, standard is 6, all the way out is about 4 to 15 clicks out. At the moment it is 12, so I'm going to increase the rebound, and I'm going to go 4. That's what I'm going to do to bring it down to 8. So I'm going to just wind it down 4 clicks to bring it down to 8, and I'm still softer or quicker than standard. So 4 clicks. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I'm going to just try that. Once again, I'm not touching the compression. I'm just experimenting with the rebound.
Well, the TLR went okay. Yes, the rebound and the compression were both wound right off to make it quick in action. And yes, it still has dampening in it because it wasn't really bouncy at all. A little bit at the back end I could feel. So I just wound it in a few, and the front just a few clicks as well. It's still quite firm, and we'll just leave it at that at this moment. It's without changing more components. I think it's flogging a dead horse, to be honest. Talking about busted stuff, look at this. I've never seen this before ever. I've got packs of clutch fibres from the Hayabusa and the GSX-R, and this one on this ZX6R here, when I took it off, this last outer disc against the pressure plate was completely removed of the fibre material. It's ground it right off. I'm staggered. The only thing I can think of, talking about staggered, the only thing I can think of is maybe this last disc wasn't offset into the basket because all the pack goes in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 type of thing, and then the very last one you turn it and then goes in on its own into the outer part of the basket, the very last one. That's all I can... So we carry on with it. We just carry on. The new fibres arrived from Kawasaki. It took 2 weeks, just under $300 for that, just the fibres. So got to do it. Now the steels, this is what they look like when I pulled them out of the bike. They're kind of black, kind of burnt. I've inspected every one. They're not warped. They're actually quite thick, these ones. Well, they can warp too, the thick ones, because on a high bush you've got thin and thick. Mainly thin ones and then 1 or 2 thick ones. But this pack and the ZX6R, they're all the same metals, they're all the same thickness, only the fibres change. So this one needs cleaning up. I've done all the rest. I've prepared them already. It's like a cooking show. But, see, they're all sanded up, ready to go. And, they're a bit strange. They seem to have this sort of section where they're actually joined. I don't know why they have this sort of imperfection on the surface. An imperfection, both sides are sort of like when you do a butt weld, you get maybe like a little lip. It's really strange. I've never seen it like this, these metals. Anyway, they're not warped, so they're going back in. Now, how am I cleaning these up? I'll show you what I did. So we're using 600 wet and dry on a hard sanding block to keep it as flat as possible. And then with gloves, because it likes to bite you every now and again, I just want to go around the surface, and I have the block supported across there like that, so that I'm not just digging into one area. I'm trying to spread the block out as much as possible. And we just simply, one hand here and sand around. It gives a kind of a nice cross-hatch type of effect, but you don't want it too scratched, too deep, because it's just going to tear your fibres apart. You don't want to sort of artificially wear the fibres down, because you've got a surface like a file, you know. We're only trying to take off that burnt glaze on top of the steel, nothing more. So we just go around. And there you go. It's all right. Now you look at the other side, compared. So we've got a sort of a cross-hatching type of effect, and we've just cleaned up. And then I can also inspect to see if there's anything else wrong with it. Sometimes I've got some discs on the Busa, they would dish, sort of like a concave, but these are flat and they're not warped. So this side needs cleaning up now. You could perhaps just turn the block around the other side and do the same. And that's basically it. But you can see the imperfections in the steel on these. I don't get them on the Suzuki. These have these little imperfections from manufacture. Look, 1, 2, 3. I don't get that. But they'll do a job. Well, thanks guys. Appreciate you watching. My name's Kevin, KJ's Moto, and the comments from my friends are fantastic. I really appreciate all the advice I get from my viewers. Thanks guys, you're awesome. And we'll carry on. We'll get this thing back together. Got the bits to do that now. and we'll just ride the TLR the way it is for the time being. We'll have to sort of invest a fair bit more money in suspension parts before it can get it any better, because I've gone, you know, the extremes, and it's just the way it is. Give it a go with your own bike. Just see what you can get out of it with the adjustments. They're there to be used. See you guys. Catch ya.